In China's deserts, desolation and despair are no longer its only labels. The world's largest photovoltaic power station was born here with an annual power generation capacity of an astonishing 4 billion kilowatt hours. What is even more striking is that over the past 60 years, people have successfully transformed 42,000 square kilometers of U.S. desert. Countless of them planted a large number of sand-resistant trees here, forming a lush green barrier, turning an originally wasteland into an oasis full of life. But if someone told you that there is a huge ocean under the desert with a water storage capacity of up to 228 trillion cubic meters, would you believe it? In fact, such a thing is real. Located in the Taklimakan Desert in Xinjiang, China, scientists have discovered an amazing secret here. Beneath the desert, there is a huge underground ocean. This underground water body covers an area of 330,000 square kilometers and has reserves of 228 trillion cubic meters, which is equivalent to 75 Lake Tahoe. So why is there an underground ocean in the Taklimakan Desert? Can this huge amount of water be better utilized? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. The Taklimakan Desert, a vast sand sea located in the Xinjiang region of northwest China, was once the golden passage of the ancient Silk Road and has witnessed countless caravans and cultural exchanges in history. But as time goes by, the prosperity of the past has been replaced by the silence of the desert, and now it has become a territory ravaged by wind and sand. At present, the desert covers an area of 337,600 square kilometers, which is equivalent to the area of New Zealand. It is one of the awe-inspiring deserts in China and even the world. Because Taklimakan is located in the heart of Asia and far away from the regulation of the ocean, it has become one of the driest areas on Earth. In summer every year, the temperature in the desert can easily exceed 70 degrees. The scorching sun and hot wind ruthlessly devastate this land, making it difficult for any life to survive in such an environment. At night, the temperature here will drop sharply, forming a sharp contrast between the sky of ice and fire. But extreme temperatures are only one of the reasons why the Taklimakan Desert is dangerous. Scarce precipitation is also an important factor in the desolation of this land. According to Chinese meteorological observation data, the annual precipitation here hardly exceeds 100 millimeters, which is far from meeting the needs of life growth. While the annual evaporation is as high as 2,500 millimeters, forming an extreme water deficit. This extremely arid climate condition, coupled with hot temperatures, makes the Taklimakan Desert a true land of death. However, beneath this seemingly lifeless desert, there is a shocking secret hidden, a huge underground ocean. What has actually happened? As early as 1984, a Chinese research team composed of 30 geologists set foot in the Taklimakan Desert. Their goal was to explore underground oil resources. In the end, their efforts were not in vain, as they discovered an oil field with reserves of up to 1 billion tons on the edge of the desert. But even more shocking is that these geologists discovered a huge source of water deep in the desert. After several months of detailed detection and calculations, they revealed an incredible fact. There are more than 200 trillion cubic meters of water resources under the Taklimakan Desert, and more than 20% of them are fresh water. If we put this number into a more intuitive scale, this amount of water is equivalent to the sum of 75 Lake Tahoe. This discovery completely changed people's view of the Taklimakan Desert. So, why is there so much water under this desert? When we analyze it from a geographical perspective, we can find a more credible answer. There are several towering mountains surrounding Taklimakan sand. To the north is the Tian Shan Mountains with an altitude of about 7,500 meters. To the south is the Kunlun Mountains with an altitude of about 7,700 meters. And to the west is the Pamir Plateau with an altitude of about 4,500 meters. On the east side of the desert, it gradually transitions into the swamp basin of Lopner. Especially on the south and west sides of the desert, the transition zone between mountains and desert is a sloping desert lowland formed by pebble and debris deposits. Due to the high altitude in these areas, the snow on the top of the mountain is thick, so when the temperature rises in spring and summer, a large amount of snow will melt. When the melted water flows down the mountain, it will eventually flow into the ground, accumulating year by year to form a rich underground water source under the desert. Although the snow water flowing through the desert forms rivers in the desert, the yellow sand in the desert has a very poor ability to conserve water sources, resulting in a large amount of water seeping into the ground through the yellow sand. As a result, Taklimakan's original water source and the blessing of snow water year after year have quietly developed a huge water system underground in the Taklimakan Desert. At the same time, there is a relatively loose sand layer deep underground in the desert. There are relatively large gaps between the sand grains in these sand layers, which can better prevent the loss of groundwater and achieve the purpose of water storage. The dry sand on the desert surface acts as a natural barrier, preventing surface water from evaporating and direct sunlight, providing additional protection for these precious underground water resources. In all deserts around the world, water is the scarcest commodity. If sufficient water resources can be used, it will become a reality to plant plants and even develop breeding in this barren land. So, can China develop underground water sources in the desert and bring vitality to this land? In fact, it is not easy for humans to develop underground water resources under the Taklimakan Desert. Because these precious water resources are hidden in underground aquifers that are 200 to 300 meters deep or even more than 1,000 meters deep. If people want to access these water sources, they need high-pressure drills and a range of specialized equipment. This is not only technically demanding, but also requires considerable investment in manpower, material, and financial resources. In addition, the groundwater under the desert is affected by the unique desert environment, and most of the water quality has many problems such as high salinity, high salt content, high hardness, and high fluorine content. Converting this poor quality water into drinkable water or water suitable for irrigation requires complex and advanced treatment and purification. Moreover, corresponding water pipelines and supporting facilities must be built, which greatly increases the difficulty and cost of developing and utilizing these water resources. Up to now, geologists have not yet explored the distribution areas of groundwater resources. If mining is rushed, ground subsidence may occur in areas with loose soil, causing the topsoil to be covered with abandoned fill soil, resulting in a waste of precious water resources and exacerbating the drought problem on the ground. More importantly, groundwater is an integrally connected system. Any exploitation of groundwater in the Taklimakan Desert may lead to a decrease in the entire groundwater level. This will not only cause irreversible damage to the local ecological environment, but may also affect the domestic water supply of surrounding residents. Regardless of the difficulty or potential risks, China should not exploit groundwater under the Taklimakan Desert. In this era of rapid technological advancement and increasing emphasis on sustainable development, we should respect nature and cherish resources more. Only through scientific planning and rational utilization can we ensure that these precious water resources hidden under the desert can become long-term wealth for mankind. To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.